Okay, now we're going to move on to geographic prospecting and talk to you about how to create forward movement in your career quickly by selecting a place to work, what it's supposed to look like, what are some of the advantages of this particular strategy and tactic, and how to go about doing it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, why would you geographically prospect? Why would you take an area and choose to focus on it? And basically, I want to go back for just a moment and talk to you about the outline. We're going to talk about why geographic prospecting, how to pick a good area, what are the tactics and strategies necessary to become the community specialist, the area specialist, how to do marketing in there for active and passive business development, and how to use open houses to deepen your relationship with that community. So those are the topics we're going to go through. So the first one would be, and we're going to ask your indulgence and talk with you for a few minutes about why this is the strongest business model of all, why it's the one that works the best. And the most important thing about it is it's synergistic and cumulative. It's an environment, it's kind of like a microcosm. You can create a very robust marketing environment just like Coca-Cola or something in a zip code. And the idea is to get to what marketers call top of the mind preference, where if somebody think of real estate, they think about Phil. Yep. Phil, real estate Phil, boom, 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 boom. And you can get there. It just takes time and focus and energy and resources. And we're going to show you what it looks like. You can get into a pre-emergent position. Years ago, a good friend of mine, Ted LaCourse, had a market in a zip code that he just kind of owned. We both knew him well. And I would work expireds and buy owners. And I wish I had a dime for every time I would talk to an expired or a buy owner if they said, well, if I list my house, I'm going to list it with Ted. That's pre-emergent marketing. That's somebody who just says, well, if I sell my house in the zip code, I'm going to sell it with so-and-so. Think about what a powerful proposition that is, to be that person in a given neighborhood, area, community, whatever you want to call it. So everything you do feeds your brand in this bubble. So if you have a sign, it makes your newsletters work better. It makes your open house work better. So, and all of those things help each other. It creates an environment where everything's cumulative and everything is synergistic.
To jump in on that, I always think it's interesting. Please. If you have 6 listings and they're spread all over an area and they're 10 miles apart, 20 miles apart, wherever that is. But man, if you have 6 listings in one subdivision, one area, and then you put corner signs up that have your names on it, and you send out just listed cards, so 6 times the 100 that you sent out, that's 600 just listed, just 600 posts. Then it goes to 600 just pending, 600 sold. You are everywhere.
It's just a huge deal because the essence of really good marketing and advertising is repetition.
Yep.
Okay. High quality repetition. And that's what a geographic farm does for you. So your market presence, this is important, your market presence becomes your prospecting program. You don't have to really do anything else after a while. I mean, Ted was so front of the bus in the zip code, it was game over most of the time for him.
It all feeds itself. Each one of those feeds itself. It's the most powerful unique selling proposition. I love you, Dennis, but he is the expert,
Yeah. It's the most powerful. There's something called a USP, a unique selling proposition. And a unique selling proposition is something that sets you apart, differentiates yourself from the competition. The most powerful unique selling proposition of all is that you own the neighborhood. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like it, nothing more powerful. It's the least expensive, ultimately, and the most productive way to do business. Ultimately, people call you rather than you having to reach out to anybody. It's a concentration of people to talk to. Asking for referrals becomes natural and easy. It's simple. I specialize in the area. You happen to know anybody who wants to buy or sell a house. A sense of belonging to a given area is important too. So you can build a service image in this area, and we're going to talk to you about how to do that. You can create income consistency, eliminate sales slumps.
Because you're always prospecting.
You're always
Your work just is prospecting.
Your market
right?
presence is prospecting for you, and it increases referral activity. Listings have a tendency to pop up around listings, and they also have a tendency to be interested in who's already on the market and perhaps calling that agent as well. So there's tremendous amount of expense savings involved in this model. I used to tease Ted and tell him that he could show 5 houses in 40 minutes because they were all within 3 blocks of his house. So, and he would laugh and say, there's a lot of truth to that. So, there's just efficiency and effectiveness that is just baked into this model that is absolutely no other way to do it than this. So your time becomes organized and effective. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance of double dipping properties, triple dipping, where this someone that wants to sell their house, someone wants to buy it, and then you list their house. The rejection becomes so much lower because they expect you're going to talk to them, right? Because you are the expert there. I think what it does is it's not a popularity contest. They're really going to judge you on your product, right? And we started with the design center for a reason, because you can create, you're such a professional brand of what you do so simply and inexpensively. That was really what kept a lot of people out of this, right? Mm-hmm. It's just, it's at the end of the day, and I know this is one of the most important things, you ultimately become a business owner.
Yeah.
That is something, we really talk about overall what we want you to do. It's just that, this extra money you're not paying us, you can use to market yourself and create your own business. Most
of the people that I have seen successfully sell a business on to the next generation wanted to scale back. I think of an agent up in Ann Arbor that we have that sells 35 to 40 houses a year in Ann Arbor. The interesting part of that story is she lives in Colorado.
I know.
So she moved out there, and because she wanted to continue her real estate practice, she got a partner, and they started co-marketing into the same geographic area and into the same sphere of influence. And as a result of that, she flies in once or twice a month and has been able to maintain a very, very healthy real estate practice, a 6-figure income, even though she lives in Colorado and Michigan. Now that's a powerful business model and a powerful testimonial about this particular way of doing business.
Create a brand and a following right there.
Yeah.
It's association.
There's an automatic, the other thing that I like about it is you can pick your price range, you can pick your area. If you love a particular, let's say you love historical houses, that's a unique selling proposition in and of itself. Yeah. You can select one of those areas and become a specialist in that. Maybe you like new construction and that sort of thing. You can focus on the newer subdivisions.
But horse farms.
Horse farms, yeah. We had a horse farm agent.
But Dennis, I'll tell you the one thing I think people forget about this is ultimately it's once you invest the money to get it started, it gets going. And then all that extra you have, you can do in service. You can create customer service.
Yep.
Where you're sponsoring the little league teams, you sponsor different things at the schools and the events, and your service actually becomes part of that. Mm-hmm. And it ultimately goes from there, right?
Well, it's just a place to work, it's a place to strategically and tactically focus all of your efforts in a way, not to be redundant, but in a way that where 2 + 2 becomes 9, becomes 11, becomes 15, and it accumulates going forward. The hard part is getting started because you have some front-end capital expenses to get in there and get rolling. We're going to talk to you about how to do that and how I would do it if I was you. So just get on board with this, guys. Trust us. There's nothing like it in the real estate business anywhere, and I really hope you take a serious look at it and don't get it on your round to it list. Talk about doing it next year. Thanks.